What's up, everybody? You got the car man. We are live. Do me a favor, Connor. Will you cut out the light behind me? Thanks, little buddy. This is my camera assistant in the kitchen. Yeah, there we go. That way it doesn't come my screenshot. All right, guys. So tonight we're gonna be talking about wholesaling automobiles and what's all involved. I had a message the other day, yesterday maybe. I had a couple good ideas. One was let's get into depth on wholesaling. And I haven't really covered that in depth very much and how to actually go about that. The other request I got was talking about, if a guy was just starting out and he just wanted to get started and he wanted to hit it part-time to build himself up. I'm thinking maybe I might do that one tomorrow, the next day, but tonight I'm going to handle the wholesaling one because... So, what does wholesaling mean? Okay, so that's basically you're going to take the car and you're going to sell it to someone else and let them have the ability to make a profit on it. All right, let's see if we're going here. So what you got to have to do this is, number one, you would need contacts. Number two, you got to have cash flow, because usually people are balancing their checkbooks based off floating on you. That's how you really become a really profitable wholesaler, is letting people float on you. The other way you get in there is if you have a really good source, cousin, aunt, uncle, whoever, somebody at a new car franchise, and you've got a backdoor in, so you can bring new car franchise cars to the table for independent dealers. That is another way into the wholesale game. The other way into the wholesale game is just the old-fashioned way. Get out and shake a few hands and get out there and meet some people that are involved in the independent car business. So a lot of people underrate and do not take the time to go meet the independent dealers, but those guys are working their ass off just like everybody else. So I would suggest that maybe start there. So I'm going to kind of build a little pyramid for you if you want to get into wholesaling. And got a connection problem. Oh boy. Not sure what's going on here with that. All right, guys, trying to fix you guys up. Okay, hold on. I think I might have had it. Hopefully, I'm running off the computer power now. Hopefully so. If I die, don't worry. I'll come back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So, finish wherever I left off. All right, clear there. It's just, it's telling me that it's faded, but luckily it held on. Okay, so long story short, to wholesale is really a big deal, and I would not recommend this for anyone with less than 10 years in the car business as far as experience. Why is that? Well, because you're selling to car professionals, people that make a living on cars, and so not only do you need to know the value of cars, you've got to be able to buy them cheaper than the next guy. So and then they're really smart too. So anything that you don't know what's wrong with that car, they're going to find out. And at the end of the day, it's going to cost you a buyer. And then, it can really blow up in your face if you don't have the experience. Dang it. All right. So we're losing connection again. Can you do me a favor and get me a extension cord?
Is it your phone or the computer? Because this keeps flashing up here on the mode.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to try to, I'm going to try to get that done in the background real quick. Give me the extension to that to one of the video lights, and I'm going to try to put the camera on directly. All right, okay. So all right, let me catch up with you guys. Not worth the trouble, in my opinion. What's that? What, wholesaling? Yeah, wholesaling it's kind of a dying art. So once upon a time, we had this nice little deal worked out with the new car dealers. Wholesalers did. And basically, when they unplugged the Wi-Fi, put it back in. Yeah, that's what we're getting ready to do. We're working on that right now. But this is a brand new system, so I don't know why it ain't working. Of course it's not working. It only took a week to fix it, and no wonder it doesn't work. All right. Let's see. Can you get him over there to plug this in, maybe? All right. We're working on this, guys. We're working on getting this done real quick. And hold on, I'm trying to sorry, guys, just knocked the camera. We're trying to readjust this. Hang on, I'm gonna come right back. All right, let's see. Can y'all just hang on for a second while I'm doing this? Maybe. Can't knock the camera over anymore.
you right here.
All right, hold on. Half of me is handled. All right, I'm going to unplug from here. I hope I don't lose you guys for 1 second. Sorry about this little miscommunication issue. And then where's the other half of this? Okay, we're going to put this in here. All right, guys, we're almost there. This camera. Hold on. Oh, this stuff is just irritating. Call Comcast. Yes, I am calling Comcast again tomorrow. All right, let's.
250th time.
Yeah, for the 250,000th time, if that's even a number. I don't even know if that is a number. Dang it. Whole new system set up. All right, here we go. I can keep this stuff straight. All right, back to wholesaling. You know what, guys? I'm just going to set you down here, and I'm going to set you guys up just like this. Now I don't got to worry about it. Sorry about looking in the sky. All right, so wholesaling is a dead sport. Can you make money at it? You could. Auction fees will kill any profit. You're absolutely right. And then on top of that, man, here's what's going on. Here's what killed the wholesale market. All the franchise dealers figured out that they don't need you anymore. They have figured out, sorry, this camera, it's brand new. This isn't working out real good. They figured out that they could bypass you. So 10 years ago, wholesaling was an option. 20 years ago, it was a great living. 30 years ago, it was the best living. So it's went from really good to now not worth it, if that even makes sense. I don't know if it does to you guys or not, but that's just how it is. So my advice on wholesaling is probably don't do it. But if you are going to do it and you are determined that you want to, you don't want to deal with customers, you only want to deal with wholesale, I will tell you probably the most profitable way to do it, or a couple different routes to do it. One, don't buy your cars from auction regularly. Try to buy them from individuals, which I've already stated this time and time again. And it doesn't have to be individuals as like you're thinking, like individual people. It could be more about getting in bed with a couple little lenders or banks or anybody's got some cars they're repoing. I've talked about this before. The tow companies are good ones. They don't care. They just, if you've got a little bit of if you got a little bit of cash in your pocket, a tow truck company is always willing to do business, period. The lenders that have the little finance companies around town, they love to have somebody they can call because no one actually messes with them. So you've got a little opportunity there. So get involved with a couple guys like that, and over time you'll develop your 5 or 10 little sources. And then after you get those kind of sources, you can then you're going to have a steady supply. And then, of course, you can beat the street with the social media sites. You can hit Letgo, Craigslist, Facebook, whatever you want. You can keep finding cars, but the ideal is you're going to have to be able to get out there and get them cheap without those auction fees that Buff just said, because it's so true. The auction fees will just kill any chance of profitability you have. So, as a long story short, or how I would condense this down is saying, if you can find a way to get the cars cheaper than the car dealer can go to the auction and do it, then you have an opportunity to be a wholesaler. But you would have to be able to base that off volume. So it's not necessarily easier because you have to buy more cars to make the same amount of money. Plus, car dealers, their whole game is just to beat you out of money. So whether a customer's need is different than a car dealer's need. And what I mean by that is a customer needs transportation. But the car dealer doesn't need transportation. What he just needs to make more and more money. So the only way he makes more and more money is to talk you out of a fair profit on yours. So it's really it's a real hard deal to make. Now, where you can capitalize on wholesaling, this is how I would do it, and I have done this in the past. If my back was against the wall, and a lot of times I do get too many cars. If I get over 25, 35 cars laid up, sitting on the line, ready to sell, so if I get jammed up, and we were talking, $200,000 worth of money, $300,000 worth of money, I can't sit on $250,000 just on the hopes that somebody's going to walk in the door and buy something. So what I basically do is, if I get overstocked, then what I'll do is I'll send them through a wholesale line, and then just basically I call it retail wholesale. In other words, my cars are going to roll in through the auction. I've got 2 guys there. They're washing the glass. They're shining them all the way up through the block. Everything's disclosed on them. I've got them clean. They're ready to go. The ACs, the tires, the engines, no check engine lights. I'm putting green lights on them. I mean, my shit is together when we're selling it. So people know that when we're wholesaling cars, and then when we're wholesaling cars, that we're all about making the profit. Now, those car dealers know that when they buy our cars, that they're going to be able to send them to a customer, and now they're going to just charge their customer even more money. They're going to retail their customer because we're retailing them at the block. So once you get to that point, you can make money wholesaling. But even me, even though we make really good money wholesaling because we have a pretty good set of buyers out there, it's still not as profitable as selling them individually. So, and we sell cars all over the freaking place. So I'm telling you right now, man, retail is the way to go. I would probably pass on the wholesale game, but if you do get into it, you just, when the cars are on the line, like I said, just make your little checklist. They got to sparkle. They got to be clean. You need a couple guys there interacting with the cars, shaking the customer's hands. You got to do something a little bit different in the auction game. If you just stand up there and be a dumbass and just raise your hand, you're not nothing different than anybody else sitting on the block. But if you're out there and you're, hey, man, just wish you take a look, thank you for looking. We appreciate it. And you're just nothing but if you just do nothing but be courteous and kind and really nice to these guys, you're going to build a cult following. And even if you got to start with one car, that's okay. Because the next week you'll have 2 more cars and your cars will just start blowing out of there like you won't even believe it. And I worked with some guys that were just phenomenal wholesalers. Like they're unbelievable. And they would actually go to, they find an auction in a couple 100 miles away and just ship their cars back. As crazy as that sounds, they were playing the what's good in this market or what's bad in this market's good in this one game, but they were so good at it. And the thing is when you're that good at it, you can go Monday, buy your car, ship them in, Tuesday, bring them to the block where your hometown is, and then turn around and flip them back out. But it's kind of like the car sales. You got to be there every auction day. You've got to have the same appearance every auction day. You've got to have the same guys out there cleaning your cars, making them look good. I mean, right all the way up through the line. And, you got to also put a little gimmick on the side when you're wholesaling. One of the most effective things I'd ever seen was a Hyundai dealer. He actually put up $50 Walmart cards. Okay, no big deal, $50 Walmart cards. But let me tell you what, man. This dude not only sold the cars, he sold them for retail. Retail. And they were fighting all the way to the end. So he sold the biggest pieces of shit you've ever seen in your life. And he did it every week. But he had his Walmart cards. And they used to call him the Walmart dealer. Because this guy, that was his hook. And if you can put a hook on at the block when you're selling your cars, it's the weirdest thing. Because a lot of the car buyers out there, they're not actually the ones retailing your cars, and they don't really care. They're just there buying. So if you've got them some little incentive for them to be happily buying from you, they'll tell the next guy to go blow off because they want their Walmart card. So, and it don't have to be a Walmart card. You could be Amazon, free gas, whatever you can come up with. A little $20 free gas card, $50. Car dealers tend to like $50 and $100 bills, so 100 really gets their attention, but 50 will keep them interested. Just remember that. So if I were you, I would definitely work on like a little bit of hook. You got to have a little bit of hook at the block. You got to have really clean cars. Sourcing them is probably going to be your most important thing. It is, unless you got a lot of experience, it's hard to go from auction to auction to make money. It can be done. It's done every day. But these boys are good. They are professionals. They know what's up, and they're working the system like you don't even want to know. Like they go from one spot to the next. I know a guy that actually buys at one place, and he got like 8 cars loaded and called back and complained on frame damage on 4 of them and got a $2,000 kickback from the auction, and there wasn't shit wrong with them. And which is unscrupulous, but that's who you're dealing with. Like, these are your buyers. These guys are that ruthless. And so at the end of the day, you've got to have that mindset. Either you got to rise above it, and you got to zero in, and you really got to focus on the wholesale game. If this is how you're going to make a living, I'm just saying, if you're going to make a living like this, you really have to be the best at it. You've got to offer a hook that no one else has, and you've got to offer the nicest, cleanest cars Don't have to be the cheapest, the nicest and the prettiest. Nice and pretty dealers love. They'll pay the extra money if they're nice and pretty. They're not going to pay crap for crap. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Dealers are not interested in hunk of shit cars. I'm going to tell you that right now. Even the most optimistic car dealers, and if they buy them, they're like, they might give you $500, $800 for something that's worth $2 or $3 grand, just because they're just greedy. So, in a long story short of things, that's how I do the wholesale, and that's my advice on it. Because once you get into the franchise wholesaling, sorry guys, I had to reset my camera up there. But once you get into the wholesale franchising, wholesale and franchising, man, it's a racket, dude. A lot of those guys, if they still do it, a lot of them have been doing it for years with the same guy. I'm not saying any of them's crooked, but the only car guy you can trust is one you can pay off. And that's been said since the time I started the car business. I never took payoffs because I never really did a whole lot of wholesaling, like in that aspect, going to franchises and buying and then retailing out. Now, as a franchise guy, I did wholesale out to a lot of different dealers, but I cut my used car manager out because I probably fired, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them over the years, just because even if they weren't crooked, they just felt, some just didn't feel right. They just fuck them. Just get them. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Oops. I can't edit it, guys. I'm live. But anyway, if somebody's stealing your money, you get the picture. So long story short, that's what I would advise. I would just advise that you really want to do it and really think about it. And let's talk about cash flow for a second. This is a big hook if you're going to be dealing with used cars and independent dealers, which is exactly who your buyers are. Then you need a lot of money to make that flow. And let me explain that to you. If you can go to a car dealer and you can say, hey, not only will I give you this car, but the title's not going to be in. That's the whole thing. When's the title going to be in? I used to ask that every time somebody sold me a car. When's the title going to be in? Then that means, when do I have to pay for it? That's car language for when's the bill due? When's the title up? So most used car wholesalers, they already know this going in. You don't have a damn choice. Like, you got to rock and roll with it. So at the beginning of the day, you need to say, hey, I can float this car for 4 weeks. If you can float it for 4 weeks, most of them are going to hook 2 or 3 weeks, whatever your car guy is. They just love free time. So if you're going to go approach a new car dealer and say, hey, man, a new used car dealer new to you. If you can stick to that guy and you can jump in there and you can say, hey, listen, brother, you out here selling 20, 30 cars a month, I can supply you 4 or 5 cars a month. And then if I supply you 4 or 5 rides a month, then the next thing I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to give you 2 to 3 weeks, whatever you need on paying them. You can pay them when you sell them. The more money you got as a wholesaler, the more money you're going to make, because you can ride the train that the other dealers, all these dealers are broke dicks. Like, they're trying to make it, they want to make it as far as they can on your money without spending their own money. Does that make sense? I hope I'm getting through to you. So you have to have that ability to float them. So if you can float them, you got a hook in there. Now, if you're just a guy that's like, hey, if you like this car, write me a check. Most of them are not playing ball. You could probably get in with some. You might find somebody that doesn't mind writing the checks. They got really good floor plans. But most of your independents, the auctions are out there offering on floor plans. The 3-week float on the hold the checks. There's so many options out there for car dealers not to pay today that you have to play in that game, in that arena, if you want to actually attract them. Another thing too, when you're selling cars on the block, you can tell them that you can give them a title delay for X amount of time, and some dealers really like that, or you can go ahead and provide title if they want it. But this comes back to our lesson the other day. You need real money to back you before you start playing with the big boys. Like, this is big boy shit. If you're going to, wholesaling is for big dogs. It's not for the little guys starting out. You can occasionally make a little bit of money wholesaling, but wholesaling is really designed for people with really deep bank accounts. It's not really designed for guys that are just starting out with pot lots and getting rolling. Like, wholesaling requires serious money. So that's my take on wholesaling, guys. Anything else that's important? I think that's about it. I think it's all about, wholesaling is all about relationships, with the guys you're doing it. It's about floating money. And then if it's not about that, if you're going to make an auction presence, then you have to have a great fresh source to bring cars in that you're not being feed on, so you can buy from individually placed from places other than auction that you don't have to pay fees on. And then the presence at the auction actually. If you oh man, they'll load you up, brother. Sean Beck, they will load your ass up. You never say who can wholesale me some cars. Basically, everybody's gonna wholesale you cars, but man, they're gonna try to retail their shit out of you when they wholesale them to you. But long story short, let me catch up with you guys right here. All right, hey, what's up, Big Cliff? He just checked out on us. All right, I'm catching up with you guys. All right, let me just. Oh, well, y'all got a lot going on here. I hadn't seen this yet. Okay, all right, I'm still catching up with you guys. All right, hold on. If I can actually keep the camera straight. Okay, all right. Oh, wow, I'm still back here. Okay, all right. All right, coming back. I'm still catching up. Okay, 2015 Malibu Ls. I'm not sure what's on the Malibu Ls. All right, I hate airbags. Okay, I can believe that. All right, clear here. Lost connection again. Getting warranty on the car. Not worth the trouble, in my opinion. Plug the Wi-Fi. Too little. I'm trying to get into the car stuff. Okay, auction fees will kill any profit margin. That's very true. Your wife is beautiful. Thank you. I will let her know. By the way, this is kind of off the beaten path, but you know, we always get off the beaten path. I want to be in the car business. How to be a backyard mechanic. My iPhone low battery. Comcast phone number 1-800. I know where you were going with that. Okay. What do you think of floor planning? You're just starting out. Sean, we just did a video and covered that, my man. Try to watch it from yesterday. I think it was yesterday. You guys have to help me out. But sourcing income and floor planning can be a serious pitfall. And I would definitely advise in just trying to start small and use your own cash. How much for navigation? Cost and vehicles. That's just kind of, you just have to price that out. Okay, kind of flipping it up. What's up, Big Dad? Oh, what's up? Windy City's on here. What's up? Auto Buff, Windy City. The flat earth, dude. The earth is flat. I'm not sure what that's about, but he is the flat earth dude, so let's just go with that. Okay, Auto Buff bust us out with, I'd rather stick to below $3,000 market, buy 1,000, sell up to 3,000, sell within a week. Yes, sir. Me and Auto Buff are on the same page. I look at cars in a 48-hour turn, and if they're over a 40-hour turn, I just don't like them. And what I mean by that is from when they get in and when they're ready to leave. If it takes longer than 48 hours for me to look at their taillights, I don't dislike them. I hate them. Who can wholesale me some cars? Anybody on here, a lot of car dealers get on here, and somebody will definitely hook you up, my man. Good info, and yesterday, correct. Okay, Big Cliff went ahead and hooked the brother up. Okay, so it was yesterday that we got into that. Sorry, y'all remember I had 2 strokes. Okay, so I'm just going to let y'all know this. So I get this message. I have this is unrelated completely, but I have this, it's just related to the YouTube channel. So I get this message from this guy. I don't even remember his name. He's like that much of a, not important. So this guy starts MFing me. He's like, you stupid MFGD, blah, blah. I mean, he is just railing me. I'm like, God, what did I do? Like, did he just find out I'm his dad? I mean, what happened? So, so I'm reading it. And this guy is like going on and on about how it was a waste of information. Yeah, definitely yesterday. Or maybe that just popped up. Okay, that's a good question. I'll come back to that, Leslie. Well, anyway, the point is this guy cussed me about a video about a plastic baffle in a Volkswagen, which they get hot, break loose, and choke up the oil pickup tube. No big deal. It's no secret. It's been doing that for years. There's actually a big class action lawsuit over it. It's not like it's a mystery or anybody should be amazed by this. But this guy just like went to the no ends of the earth to insult me. So first, these internet people, man, they can really piss you off. So I'm going to tell you all this. If one of these guys jumps on here on this live, have it. I can't say anything because I'm like, YouTube scrolls my stuff. But, you know, get my back on that. I'll thumbs up you later because, of course, I'm going to deject them. But when they start running their mouth, cussing and all that stuff, it just irritates the shit out of me. But that's how it goes. All right, so let's go back to your question. All right, is it better? Okay, yeah. You know what? Let's talk about having a wholesale business through a public auction. That's pretty fair. I think if you got with the right public auction that had a decent amount of customers, that actually did a good job of bringing some customers in. I don't mean just during tax season. I mean all year long. Not somebody that has 50 customers and 800 cars. I mean somebody that has a room full of customers and a reasonable amount of cars that you have a reasonable chance of selling it at. Selling through a public auction is really good. You really have an opportunity, especially if you bring nice cars. It's kind of a way to sneak around and retail through wholesale. So to me, that's actually really good. Now, here locally in Richmond, we've got one a little bit further south than us. I think there's one up a little bit north, Fredericksburg, somewhere a little bit further up that way, maybe in King George or whatever. But matter of fact, they actually asked me to come down and shoot a video with them. I should probably remember their name. Anyway, had a stroke. You know how it goes. So there is companies out there that actually really do a good job of marketing. And so when they market, they're bringing in the wholesale public, so to say. So a public wholesale is a lot different than a dealer wholesale. A public wholesale, if that cat wants your car, he ain't aware of the blue book value / black book value / what the bank's going to loan. He doesn't care. He's got his cash. He knows that when he raises his hand, he's going to go in there and pay that dude for whatever he wants, and he's leaving. It is an excellent concept, and it is a hell of a way to make money. But it's kind of like the wholesale to auction thing. You've got to kind of set your tones in there. You've got to differentiate. So if you get known as a pretty good size dealer, when I say size, if you're going to deal with independent public auctions and you start dealing in more than 5 cars a week, say up to 10, that's going to be pretty sizable influence to the auction itself. So they're going to start giving you a little bit better numbers. And then the same thing. People love free shit. They love it. So if you can say, hey, listen, and you can put little stickers on your windshield and be like, hey, this is back in the day, free TV, free VCR, whatever. I know we don't even do that anymore. It's free CDs. But free something, whatever you can put as your hook, put it on the windshield and be like, hey, we're giving this away with each sale. Period. People love Walmart cards, gift cards, or you can get like, if you have 10 cars, you can have 10 different gift cards, and you can be like, you can pick your gift card out to one of these places, and then, like at the grocery store, they have like all those gift cards. Just go ahead and get them. Get you 10, whatever, how many cards you got, get you some gift cards with different names on them, and, or just some visas or whatever. But it can be a very profitable situation. I'm glad you brought that point up. At the same time, if you're not going to do it consistently and you're not going to do something to make yourself stand out, like you're going to have to talk to that auction, try to negotiate for some pretty decent numbers so you get a shot. And, the auction knows that they got a hook. So if you tell the auction, hey, listen, for every one of my cars, we're giving out gift cards for $100 to Walmart, then the average person out there, then the auction's going to be like, they're going to put that as their marquee for that week. They're going to be like, hey, Auto Buff Wholesale over here, he's going to throw out $100 a round, and they're going to queue it up all week long. All their advertising, everything they're putting out, they're going to do all that work for you for free. So it's a good way for a little guy to get a big bang for his dollar. But you got to have that hook, my brothers. If you don't have that hook, you're wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. But if you do the hook, you're willing to stay consistent, and you come in week in, week out, even if you only have 5 cars, even if you only got 10 cars, whatever, you just show up and be ready to sell them cars. Be in them cheap. Take the first deal. Take as good, you got to do what you can do. Don't lose a bunch of money or anything, but take a deal when there's deals out there and keep them rolling. The auction's going to love you because they're making fees on you, and the more the auction loves you, the more they're going to bump you up in the line, and then you're going to be one of their hooks. Hey, every weekend we're giving away Walmart. Or every weekend we're giving away this, and that's all going to be you. And you're going to be the hero. You're going to walk in there with 5 or 10 cars a week and be running that place. I mean, I've seen this happen so many times. Like this is how it works in the car business. It's the same way as you're selling cars. You ever watch the newspaper? The newspaper's like, oh, if you come in, we're going to give you brand new this, brand new that. Hey, Popsy. Hey, Moms. Hey. I guess they're just busy. Hey, Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Popsy, everybody. You haven't made an appearance on YouTube, so tell everybody why haven't you been on YouTube?
I've been retired.
He retired. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but okay, yeah, he definitely retired. Is it okay? So all right, back to the wholesale thing. Are public auctions as numerous as dealer only? You know what? They are. You have to do it because what? Okay, so let me explain to you a public auction. A public auction is he's a used car dealer basically, but he decided to get into auction. So he's working the same program you're working. So he's OPMing it, other people's money. So he has a floor plan and he has to be able to write you a check and take the customer's cash in. He's got to be the banker in the middle. But it's usually just an independent car guy, basically. And so it's kind of like independent dealers. There's usually one if you have a really halfway decent market that you're close to, they're pretty plentiful. And I would definitely suggest, especially before you jump into the big dealer market, the big dealer market is a merciless situation. But a lot of the big dealers will start hearing about you in the little dealer section. But you will enjoy being king of the mountain at the public level. In the real world, in the auto auction, my auto auction access card, if I walk into if I walk into a Mannheim, Odessa, whatever, you're just another swinging, you know what, trying to flip cars. So that's how I look at it. But when you're at the auto auction that's public, those people, they don't buy cars every day. So when you're presenting them something different and it's like this clean car and the guy's nice and you're out standing by your cars before they go through the block, or you have one of your kids out there, I say kids, one of the detail guys out there shining them, man, you got to be point on. You got to be different than everybody in the game. You got to be ready to rock and roll. So that's how I would do it. You know what? I'm glad he brought that up because that actually would be my advice for anybody wanting to get started. Try to find you a public auction and really correct your craft. And then the better you get, or try it on their Monday and then send it to the real auction on Tuesday under the same thing, and then see what you could do. It'd be a double hit for the same amount of money, and maybe you can make it happen. And a lot of times the auctions, you can pay them $5 or $10 to transport your cars. So I mean, it really ain't even no more hassle other than keeping them clean. You got to keep your detail guys. By the way, the dry wash car stuff is fantastic for auto auctions. You got to be Attila, the shine killer. I'm just telling you how it is. All right, guys. Well, if there's anything else I can do for you on that, let me know. I have once again exceeded my time limit, broke the camera, and tried to kill the battery, killed the signal. I've done everything wrong tonight. Whatever. But tomorrow night, we're going to try to get it straight. And I think tomorrow night, we are going to address the part-time. So basically, this guy, he's a career guy, but he's in a different field than cars. And then he's in a different career than car business. But he started about 6 months ago. And he said, I'm buying about this, about that, selling a little bit. And he's trying to build himself up to become an independent. And I think it'd be a good video tomorrow. I think there's a lot of people probably on the fence trying to figure out what they would actually need to do technically to make this start happening. You take a shot at it. You might as well take a shot at it. You never know unless you try, right? But I think I might get into that tomorrow. I'm not wholesaling, but trying to start getting started in the car business. I think that's probably an appropriate title, getting started in the car business. And I think that's a reasonable thing, and I actually think it's really smart. I mean, yeah, sure, I know the value of almost every car I look at, but you're not going to unless you've been doing this your whole life. So it's really smart that you don't just jump in and start throwing money at shit, hoping that it sticks. So yeah, I think that's a good place for us to go. Meanwhile, nothing but love from the RVA. That stands for Richmond, Virginia, by the way. And I thank all my boys for hanging out tonight, and all the car dealers from New York to Chicago, all the way down to Barbados. I don't know who else we got out here tonight. Leslie, where are you from? Wow, smart, great idea. I like Leslie. He's paying attention. And then what did my boy here? Okay, Sean Beck. I'm liking him. The fam damnly. All right, let's see here. Okay. What's up, Bobs? I got you. How tough is it to start a small one in your area? Public auction, that is. Oh, let's see. That's hard. That is a whole nother ball of shit. Like, let's don't even get there right now. Right now, basically, we all went and had a couple beers, and you just basically asked if you could, like, start taking, I'm sure a few of us have drank a little bit of that little moonshine they make here in the mountains a little bit. And don't hold it against me. They do make that movie here, Moonshiners in Virginia. But long story short, I'm not an illegal moonshiner, but I will give you a little background. My grandfather was, but in the town that I was born in, they didn't have any economy other than coal mining and moonshining. So I guess he took the easy route. Well, think about it. It's kind of like retail. It's the same thing I do. Uh, but anyway, yeah, you just went from taking a round of beers to just taking shots of moonshine. So let's don't do the auction thing. That's a little too rough right now. We can't swallow that one. But you can do a dealer auto auction. But if you are going to do that, you don't even want to know the amount of money that takes. You're probably talking in the middle of, you'd probably need at least $2 million cash liquid. And to even think about getting in the game, because you'd have to have such a big facility, and then for every car sold, you've got to be able to front the cash for every one of them. You've got to be able to take the liability on everything, and it's just crazy. Like owning a car auction, something I've never done. I've had a lot of good friends that own auctions or in the auction business. It is a rough business, guys. And it's a career type thing. It's not like something you just get into if you think you can make some money on. No, it's like your dad did it and he passed it down to you kind of thing. All right, but anyway. All right, Barbados, Arizona, and who else is on here? We should start an auction, making money on both sides of the sale. I would love to, Canada. I love you, Canada, man. I love the Canadians. 20, 30 cars a week. I'm feeling you. Sell to the public. And I thought girlfriends were expensive. You know, Big Cliff always gets his guys in trouble, man. He's smooth like that. I gotta make sure Jen ain't around when I said that. Y'all didn't see her mother come in? That's her mother. That's my mother-in-law, boys. I can get some serious shit tonight. All right, anyway, peace out, man. We'll catch you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Hopefully I have my technical stuff figured out. And we should be good to go. And you know what it's going to be about, and we'll see you then. See you on the flip. Let me figure out how to turn this sucker off. All right, here we go.